Right, the report of the acting CEO, which you've got, and we need to resolve to include the supplementary reports with this. You've all got it? Okay. We'll resolve that way. Any discussion, questions? Yanni?
This on the acting CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we? Is it possible to get a final copy of the Avon River plan with timeframes and budgets? I'm just have repeatedly asked for this for both the accessible transport and for other things that we've considered, and I'm constantly told that there's a confidential concept plan up in the council's lounge from June 2013. So how can we get, as a council, an understanding of what's happening in the Avon River project, the money that we're spending, which is, I think, $6 million, and what the timeframes, budgets and finalised plan is?
Thank you for the question, which you did send through yesterday. And yes, the part of the answer is the plans were shown to councillors and the council made available to councillors quite some.
That's a year out of date.
Yeah, quite some time ago.
The final design is supposed to be done.
Yeah, quite some time ago. Yeah, that's correct. So I've picked up that question and we'll come back in the next report.
Can we get it sooner? Like, it's pretty important to some of the decisions we're making today to actually know what's happening. Do you have a copy of the plan? We don't have a copy as a council.
No, we don't have a copy as a council.
Regarding to the South Friend, I have two questions. The first one, based on your information, South Friend consists of three parts of land. One is the middle three blocks. Second is innovation precinct. Last one, health precinct. What's the main function, purpose for middle three blocks? Because I can't understand. You here only mention it's a private sector or the public sector. But your private sector innovation precinct cover, health precinct cover the kind of the public sector. What's the main purpose?
I'll pick that question up and include it in the next report.
Thank you. Second question is, in here, particular mention, you know, a moment South Frame, the piece of land is owned by private, the landowner, etc. If I'm not sure if council or Sarah engaged with them to through the acquisition process. If they refuse, reject, how to alleviate this effect? Yeah.
Jane, thanks for attending to all these items. And like the one, for example, on the traffic management plan for Addington, I'm aware that that's difficult in terms of pulling it together. And I just wonder altogether if perhaps, though, because Addington isn't the only suburban area congested, if the Environmental Committee perhaps decide on a process to deal with these issues. I had considered, say, a working group, but I'm just thinking perhaps there needs to be more discussion about processes because there's a number of these.
I think that's a good suggestion, and staff will talk to you as the chair about how to make that happen.
I'd just like to ask one as well, and that's the rubble at the corner of Colombo and Brougham Streets, which annoys me intensely every time I see it. So I'm going to ask that this stays on the agenda with what's happening on it, so that we can actually get rid of that pile of rubble. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Just on item 1.3270 Oxford Terrace sale and purchase agreement, that's Centennial Pool. You say that the insurers, reinsurers have concluded their investigations. The resolution was subject to satisfactory resolution of the insurance issues. Have the reinsurers and insurers agreed that that's a total economic loss and that we will get the full sum insured on that building?
I can't answer that one, but I know that there is a... Yeah, Peter.
So it's,
They've done all the assessment they require to reach a view, and then whether they agree it's a total write-off or anything else is subject to further negotiations. So what they've done is they've completed their assessment.
so that concerns me because I think at the time the concern was that if they don't agree that it's a total economic write-off, which is what we were previously advised, then we actually might want to fix Centennial, because actually then we're losing quite a few million if they think it's fixable for 2 or 3 versus giving us the 7 or the 6 that it's actually got.
So I'm happy to give a further update on insurance in the public excluded section of the agenda.
So can I ask, really it's a question for the acting CE, how can you approve the sale and purchase agreement when we don't have satisfactory resolution of the insurance issues?
I think what we're saying is we'll brief you in the PX session about that.
But this is, I mean, this is.
But the actual was subject to the insurance investigation being complete
Yeah.
as well.
It was.
It was subject to resolution of the insurance issue because there's a
Yes,
huge
well,
quantum difference.
if we wait for the actual resolution of the insurance, nothing will happen in the city for a long time, or for at least the next 3 or 4 months, which is not the situation that we want to get into. The difficulty that we had was similar to a number of other buildings where they were saying that this was repairable and wanted to do their own engineering investigation. So the engineering investigations have been done.
And the
I
other
think-
issue with this site, it's been made very clear to us by Sarah that there'll be a compulsory acquisition if it doesn't happen like this.
So but the issue for us is that we're supposed to be a prudent watchdog of our facilities, and we were basically given the impression for a long time that the insurer had agreed that this was a total loss. We then found out fairly late in the piece, before we discussed selling it, that the reinsurer didn't share that view, which basically means we're leaving a lot of money on the table. So we might have chosen to fix Centennial Pool if we'd known that the insurance position was a certain way. And I thought we were pretty clear when we debated this that the councillors were only keen to approve this if it was on the basis that the insurance issues had been resolved. They haven't been resolved. So, you know, I'm sorry, but Sarah can change things all the time. We should actually have a right to get what we're properly entitled to from our insurer.
In my view, we'd satisfied the resolution, and I took legal advice on this, hence we moved it forward.
Yanni, we looked at the cost of repairing or rebuilding Centennial early in the year, and it was around, from memory, about 9.9, either 9 million. I'm going from memory now, I haven't got it. Either way, in terms of the repair or rebuild. And we know that this land is going to be taken by compulsory acquisition either way. The difficulty that we had was the actual inspection physically by the insurance people. My hunch is that we will probably get to a situation where the individual sites don't matter that much anyway in the insurance deal, but I don't obviously want to discuss that in the public section of the meeting. So I think Jane has satisfied everything that we asked of her in this one. Unless, well, do you?
In regards to the issue around, sorry, I just found the page, was around the alignment with the skirt work on page, the question, Appendix A, information on skirt alignment with city plan and suburban master plans. So how far away is that report? Again, that was really around the central city accessible transport plan. We're making decisions today around that. So what, clearly there is no alignment at the moment. So when are we going to get that report to be able to look at that alignment? It's pretty urgent. Is there something, can we get a sense of what that report is likely to say?
This is being prepared for the next Earthquake Recovery Committee, which is, when's that?
Effective
5th
tomorrow.
Oh, well,
But it's a district plan review
yeah.
one tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, 5th of June.
What I can't understand is, because we don't have this information, how can we vote on things around the central city without understanding what that alignment is, given our financial situation?
We advise Skirt that we want things aligned. We're going from the position that work is aligned as much as it can be. Note the other position, which I think you're probably coming from.
What concerns me is we've got this huge financial hole, about $500 million, maybe $1 billion. We've got central city projects and master plan projects that we've agreed that we'll do with our community, but in the meantime we've got Skirt happening that's putting back like for like, in some cases less for like, that isn't taking into account those plans. And I don't think we're going to be able to afford to come back later and actually do those plans when most of the money has already been spent on putting it back as it was, rather than what we've told the community it should be. So, I mean, it's pretty fundamental to us dealing with our major financial situation. And we've found with Salisbury Street, for example, we need to approve extra money to do enabling works even, when previously we're told that Skirt works had taken into account the future plans.
Skirt do take into account all these plans?
It's bizarre.
Over into the area of the accessible cities transport, which is coming up later on.
So crossing in over to the master plans that we're going to approve today.
Yes,
the master
yes, it
plans
is.
that we've approved
And we're going to debate
previously.
those when we come to them.
But the work's
And we'll
happening
have
now. That's the
we'll
problem. The money's being wasted now.
We'll have the experts at the end of the table to help you through these questions.
Just thanks, Jane. On item 4, the flooding task force, stage 2, and the second bullet point, the schedule of face-to-face meetings with the residents to establish their preferences. Can you explain what that actually, their preferences for what? Is it the long-term options or?
Oh, this is short-term options, and it'll be face-to-face interviews with people to say we could do this or we could do that. What do you think, rather than imposing solutions on them?
Okie doke. So that will happen at the public community meetings or just individually?
Individually, and these are happening now.
They're happening now.
Now, yes,
Are they?
yes.
Very good, thank you.
Just wanted to comment as well on the Belfast freezing works effluent. So I'm assuming that that will improve by June this year. Is that a fair assessment to make? This is where the freezing
Yes,
works gets to dump their stuff into the river, which just seems very 1930s and just abhorrent. So this will improve after that.
Would you like to have an update?
I would love to have an update. I can't believe
We'll
it.
put a
Yep.
bring up maybe for a month's time.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Anything else on the CEO's report? If not,